Hello, you're listening to Making It Count, a podcast that provides practical financial advice for every stage of life with a twist. We're your hosts, Cristina
and Will. We aren't financial experts. We're just like you, aka trying not to stumble our way to financial success.
That's where our money smart friends come into the equation. You see what I did there, Will?
Yes. I guess we need to add a bad pun disclaimer to our show description.
Well, as long as we add a reality TV spoiler disclaimer as well.
I'm there for that. You'll want to stay tuned for fun guest interviews,
discussions around money taboos,
and apparently corny jokes and Real Housewives references.
That is so perfectly us. So together, let's make it count. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Making It Count.
Welcome back, Cristina. It's our season 3 finale. Can you believe it?
No, I can't believe it. It has flown by. I can't believe how fast this season went.
No, it's been long. No kidding. No, it really has flown by.
It has flown by so fast because we've had so many terrific guests, and today is no different. And we have a really unique format.
That is right. We are going to get a close-up view of a real financial consultation. It's like money therapy.
I can't wait. I'm so excited. I read a CNBC report that says only 38% of Americans work with a financial advisor to manage their money. And that's more than it used to be. But it also shows that really people aren't tackling their money issues and they're doing it without professional help.
Yeah, it's really interesting. I feel like a lot of people get advice from professionals for so many things. Like we go to personal trainers for exercise and we go to the doctor and we don't accept answers from WebMD.
Mm-hmm.
And so you seek out all these experts, but then when it comes to money, which really is ultimately the root of how you go through life, at least in our society today, you don't really seek out a professional. You just kind of wing it half the time.
That is so true. So, Will, do you seek professional financial advice?
It's a very good question. I have not seen a financial advisor.
Really?
No, but I will say that having a background in a financial and being on this podcast, I have learned a lot. And I feel like really over the last few years, my financial situation, I've gotten a lot smarter with how I handle my money and more aware of the idea of being in control of your money.
Yeah, I definitely agree. I think just hosting and being a part of the podcast and hearing from the professionals we bring on has definitely opened my eyes to areas I can improve on financially. But I do have a financial advisor that we've been going to for years. And I think what I would have younger friends ask I'm too young to go to have a financial advisor. I'm like, you're never too young. As soon as you have that first post-college, professional job, I think you got to line somebody up and just start scheduling your goals. And if it wasn't for her, we wouldn't be in the spot we are now for our retirement. So we really needed help.
I think a lot of people also get it confused with investment advice. This isn't about having a lot of money. This is about getting your money in order
and making it work for you.
Correct.
Yeah,
yes.
Definitely.
Yes. All right. So let's introduce our Addition financial expert who will be conducting this money therapy session. You've heard her here on the show before. Thanks for joining us, Heidi. Tell our listeners about yourself if they don't remember.
All right. Well, great. It's so nice being here again. This is one of my favorites, and I'm so honored that I get to be the guest for this because this is my passion. I eat, sleep, breathe, dream about counseling, coaching members just to get them on the right financial path. So I'm a financial coach, a financial education ambassador, and a home loan specialist. So I get to work closely with members and people in general, just one-on-one to dig deep into those money issues that they could be having.
We are so happy to have you back and in our season finale. So thank you so much for coming today, Heidi. And we also have another valuable member of the credit union here in our studio today, Chelsea, who has been in another one of our podcasts, and her amazing husband, Desi, remoting in. Thank you so much, Chelsea and Desi, for agreeing to let us share this financial consultation with our listeners. Please tell us about yourself.
Well, I am a returning guest on the show, so I'm excited to be back. I'm excited to have my partner in crime with me today, my husband, Desi. We have been married for 5 years and we have a 3-year-old. So this is going to be a great opportunity for us. We need to get this in line because we are going to be expecting another edition in November.
Oh, wow.
Oh,
Congrats.
That's
amazing.
Oh my goodness.
Oh my God, a podcast first. That's amazing. Congrats. A baby reveal.
Next time it has to be a gender reveal.
Oh, Monica already has that in line.
Well, thank you both, Desi and Chelsea.
All right, Christina, it looks like you and I get to sit back on this one.
We're not
really doing a whole lot.
This is an easy one for us. Thanks, producer Lauren.
Yeah, we're going to make Heidi do all the work today.
All right. Well, here we go. So first of all, to Chelsea and Desi, it's really, I'm happy you guys are here taking this step. It's a leap because a lot of people just are hesitant on, hey, I don't know what to do. I know something's not right. I want to make changes, but I don't know how. So I thank you guys. I want you to feel comfortable, get relaxed. We are having conversations. We're getting to know each other. And this is a consultation versus a coaching session. So they're a little bit different. So the consultation is really going to be the rapport building, me asking you those kind of deep personal questions. I'm going to dig in your mind, dig in your soul, really start to pull things out. Whereas the coaching session, it's broken up into pieces. The coaching session that would follow after, we'd really get digging in on putting together a budget and whatever goals you have. We actually sit down one-on-one. So we're going to get a little surface level, but really we're going to start to get this process in place so we can get you guys going to reach your goals. So in case you're not quite aware of what a financial coach does, I'm actually someone that works with members to help people make minor adjustments in their perception and behavior around finances. So that way you can create that budget, know that you can make a change for a better life. This will include, so keep in mind about what you're wanting to do, budget, credit counseling, credit evaluation, housing counseling. So for those that don't own their homes but know they want to be home buyers, this will be something great. So there's a realm of areas from, and I like to call it, we start basic from budgeting. We go from budgeting to buying a house, buying a car. The main thing is to check out your overall well-being. So if you guys are ready, I'm gonna dig in. All right, so I'd like to do an icebreaker first. So Chelsea, does pineapple belong on pizza?
Absolutely, 100%. 100%.
Desi, what's your take on pineapple on pizza?
Well, I agree with my wife. It can be good, especially with bacon.
All right, so wait, are you agreeing because it's what Chelsea said, or do you really like pineapple on pizza?
Well, it depends. You have to be in the mood for it. So usually, most of the times when we get pineapple on pizza, we're in the mood for it. It's not always our go-to,
All right. And that right there is a clear perception. Your perception on what kind of pizza you like, what kind of car you like to drive. It's the same thing that when you talk about money and finances. Everybody has their own perception, ideas on what money is and how it works for you. Now, the tough part is when you have two individuals that come together as one, and now you have to have the, hard talk of, all right, so we are coming together as one. Do we merge our finances? What do we do? It's knowing that everybody has different spending styles, money styles, ideas on money. So that's often a struggle with people who are coming into a relationship, becoming married, is that you have two different perspectives and views on money. So let's dig in. Are you guys ready?
We are. We met at a bank, so this is ironic. We were bankers when we met each other.
Oh my goodness!
This is a long time coming in the works. Desi now works in insurance. He works for Allstate now, so he's still kind of in the realm. But we are going to take all of the advice we can get today from you, Heidi.
It's pretty fantastic. So this is great. So I'm going to ask you a question. This right here is, What area in your financial life needs a little TLC?
Definitely our savings. We are not home owners. We have never owned a home before. That is something that we have goaled in the next few years. We want to put ourselves in a situation to have a nice down payment, closing cost, all of that good stuff, as well as prepping for 2 kiddos now. So that's our main goal, is just padding that savings and preparing for what's to come in the next 5 years.
Mm-hmm. Perfect. Desi, how do you feel about that? Do you have any other financial TLC moments that you've been working on or that's different from Chelsea?
Well, I agree with her as well. But I think budgeting would be one way to get our savings where we want it to be. I believe if we can track with the money that's being spent, we can, taper it down and get it into the savings. So I think that those two suggestions would be good.
Yeah, and budgeting and saving are the two. When you look at the big picture of life, those big purchases, buying a house, buying a car, really those are your two largest purchases that you will ever make in your life. It is being prepared. And in reality, budgeting is very intimidating to a lot of people. A budget is continually fluctuating. If anyone, for us that we've lived through, it was how many people that went through COVID that, had a loss of job, that, we have life events, whether it's an illness, loss of job, that we don't prepare for. So when you have the savings in place, preparing for a new baby along the way, building for a house, that budget is the most crucial thing you guys could accomplish, or anyone in general accomplishing together. That is the bare bones basics of knowing what you have and where you want to go. So we'll dig a little bit more into that and working on some of those for you. But we're going to go a little bit deeper now. So these are a little bit personal and vulnerable, but when we're talking about money and finances, that's really what needs to happen. It's about exposing everything and moving forward.
Lay it on thick.
All right. So what was money like growing up for you guys? What did you see as kiddos? How your parents were with money and their perception on money, which may have reflected on how you are with money?
I'm going to let my husband take the lead on this one because I think he could answer this question very well. We both have very different upbringings. Mm-hmm. My husband was raised in a third world country, so he was majority of childhood spent in Mexico. So take it away to let them know, kind of your opinion.
All right, Desi, tell me your story.
So my parents were both immigrants. So when we came, I was born here but raised in Mexico for a while. When I came over here, I was culturally shocked. My mom watched after us while my father worked almost 7 days a week. So we were finances weren't discussed in the house, mainly because that was a topic amongst, the parents and the grown-ups. So we didn't know anything about money or anything like that. But we were taught to work hard for what you wanted. So I started actually working at the age of 16 because I wanted money to buy things. And some of those purchases weren't the smartest when you're young and you have money. You usually waste it on clothes or food or, things that you want. So it's not until I, started working in the financial business that I learned how to manage my money. That's how we perceive it. So, yeah, our Chelsea and I's background are a little bit different.
Definitely. I am an only child, so that kind of seals the deal there. No siblings. I'm the only grandchild, the only niece, the only child in my whole family, pretty much. So, as you can imagine, I was very spoiled as a child. My mom, I love her to death. The woman cannot manage money to this day. She does not even have a savings account. We were the type, like, we would go out to eat, we would go shopping every day, all the time. And I definitely see those traits passed along to me as an adult. I have to stop myself at times because I am a very, like, if I had a life motto, it would be treat yourself, because that is my motto. Like, girl, get you that Starbucks, get that drink. You go to work every day, treat yourself. And I find myself saying that like 20 times a week. And I'm like, okay, maybe I've treated myself enough. So definitely those things have passed along. And he is so frugal. My husband does not spend money, like, ever. I will force him, like, Desi, you need new work pants. Like, we have to go buy some new slacks. He is using like an iPhone 6. I'm not kidding. The man is frugal. And then you have me who's like, oh, look at this on Amazon. I got this for Lily today. Like, yeah. So definitely opposites attract. What they say is true.
And that's where the money struggle usually comes in with couples, is that you've got one that's a spender, one that's a saver. And it's always two different upbringings. And you don't realize the power of what you're subconsciously watching as you're growing up. When you're watching your parents work and how they spend, are there fights about money? Does, like Desi's, family, they're really hard workers. So that just is naturally ingrained in you, the same as being a super spender. That kind of carries with you. But it is as we get older and you get to acknowledge and say, okay, wait a minute, this is how I know I'm supposed to be, and this is what I am. These are the strong-willed that we need to say, hey, you know what? I want to make a change, and I know that these are adjustments that I need to make. So one thing as we're talking about that is, Chelsea, it's when you go into a store, or, we did this on my 11-year-old, spending, want versus need. And it's do I really need this? Do I need that third cup of coffee this week? And what you do, as we're talking about the budgeting and the saving, hey, you know what? Because I know that we have these goals, I know that we want to buy a house and we want to get stuff for the new baby. Okay, I'm going to now take this money, which I have in my hands, but I'm going to take it and I'm going to put it into a savings account. So those are the small adjustments that over time, create big successes.
Oh, definitely. I find those little minor expenses are my biggest expenses at the end of the month when I am reviewing everything, because in hindsight, $5 on a coffee, you're like, oh, it's just $5. But when you've done it every day this week, that's $25. Like, and then you multiply that by the month, you've now spent over $100 on coffee. So those are the small tactics that I definitely want to put in place. When we did the New Year's resolution episode, that was the one that I was on. And I remember saying in January, I'm going to stop buying the Target dollar bins. I'm going to stop going over there. I'm happy to report I've made it about halfway. I have bought one spring kitchen towel, so I will take it as
progress.
A win. Slow progress.
Actually, that's another question that I wanted to ask you is, how do you define financial success?
I think financial success, at least for myself, is security. I don't want to be stressed. I don't want that pit in my stomach that I get when it's the first of the month and I have to pay my rent. I don't want to be concerned like, okay, this bill is coming, we're going to pay this, and then that leaves X amount of money for everything else. I want the security of saying, hey, if the car breaks down, we're good. We have everything in place. That is my idea of, financial success and stability.
Mm-hmm. Desi, how about you?
Financial success would mean having a cushion for us, as like Chelsea said, it would be something, if the unexpected happened. For instance, I work for insurance in the insurance business, and insurance is for the unexpected. And by having a solid foundation, a solid financial foundation, if that unexpected happens, we can, we have something to fall back on. So yes, I agree with Chelsea. It would be having enough that if the unexpected happens, we're going to be okay, or enough to survive.
Yeah, absolutely. And everybody defines their financial success a little differently. And that's why it's so important to have these questions and this self-reflection. So write it on paper, set your goals. Again, there's the SMART goals, vision boards as well. Those are all, good certain ways. And you can have a financial vision board as well, and that you guys work on together to create your kind of where you are now and where you want to go. So it leads me to the next question of, are you both currently budgeting?
So I have to say, I am probably the financial manager. And I put that in air quotes because it is so loose. Like, believe me, I am by no means tracking. But I would say that I am probably the one that manages the money more, in the house. I do try to be conscientious of my spending, but we definitely do not write things down. We definitely don't allot a certain percentage of our funds to go in certain accounts. Definitely room for improvement. Granted, all of our bills are paid, so check on that box, credit score going up. But there is definitely room for the savings like we've been bringing up.
Yeah, perfect. That really is, that leads me to here's how we move forward. So we've established that you guys are wanting to buy a house, you're wanting to build a savings, prepare for the baby, the regular life stuff that comes up along the way. So we need to start to establish a budget on paper, visually seeing, because it really makes a difference. And you will be so surprised once you actually put it on paper, when you say, okay, this is what our monthly income is. These are what our monthly expenses. And when we sit down and start to work on it, it's not going to be the Starbucks, the eating out. It really is going to be looking at the four walls, I call them the survival expenses, the rent, food, car payment, all of those things that are, this is what has to pay for us to survive. We need to live. We'll also, and again, for you guys, how are you as far as, there's debt to consider as well. Credit cards, unsecured personal loans, of course, the auto loans, those are something a little different. Those are a necessity.
Definitely. And that was one of our goals too, is credit cards. I mean, we're definitely not carrying a huge balance by any means. We're talking like $1,000 at most, but I do want to have that completely knocked out by the time that the baby does come. So we're not worried with extra expenses. Car notes, thank God we only have one car note. So, nice. And the majority of our new debts, if that is going to come, would simply be new things for the baby.
Mm-hmm.
Those are really the only new debt items that we plan to take out. But credit cards are something that, especially me being in the lending side of things, very, very like light waters to tread with a credit card. I try to avoid that at all cost. Unless, right now we have that promo going on. If you're going to book a trip, now go ahead and use it. But I am not booking a trip anytime soon. So my balance is getting paid down.
Yeah. And that's perfect. And it's and you guys have to sit down and, this is something that you discuss together. So the first thing is really to booking up. I mean, not really many people use their bank statements anymore. No one looks at and prints out their statement. Everything is all electronic, but that's where you sit down and look at the last 30 days. Okay, where are we spending? Where is the extra going? How much are you spending on eating out? Where is your money going? And that's the whole point of when we sit down and talk about a budget or a spending plan. It's not saying, oh my goodness, this is so daunting, I don't want to do this. It's saying, okay, you know what? We need to take control of our money and we're telling it where it needs to go. So you will sit down, this is going to be okay, this is what's going out. Where are we spending our money and where can we cut back? Because guess what? When you decide to maybe eat out only once a week, one time a week, and then you look at what you've been spending, put that extra towards knocking out that credit card debt, working on that emergency savings, because that is ultimately something that's so important. Do you guys have an emergency savings, the just in case, the insurance backup?
I mean, we do have a small, very small savings. It wouldn't be able to carry us through for a long time, but we would have something to at least tire pop, like that, those kinds of expenses. But anything past, if something happened and my husband could not work, we would be strapped for cash. Like we need our monthly income. So that's another thing with bringing back to the security. I want to have the peace of mind. If something happens to us, we're going to be okay. That's my idea of success, because I know we will probably never be rich. I'm okay with that. I've made peace with it. But I know that I definitely want us to be able to say, do we want to put Lily in private school? Is that an option for us? I want us to be able to do those things, give experiences, travel to see family. Those are the things that I truly want to invest in, experiences and bettering ourselves as a family. Not so much of, it's easy day-to-day life. You're like, oh man, I really love those shoes. They're so cute. Oh, that new purse. Those expenses are what's going to take away from the big picture for sure.
Yeah. Well, it really sounds like you guys are on the right path. Budgeting is key. That savings is key. But you guys have a really great plan, but sit down and communicate. Communicate between married couples is so important when it comes to finances for you guys to be able to reach your goals. And you've got some big things coming up.
Oh, yes.
Big things. and it's great. And one thing you'll need to know is that along the process, I'm here for you. So this is just the beginning. We work to establish, your budget and make you comfortable to let it all out. And to be honest, it's overwhelming. It's scary. And this is why going to a financial counselor is so important, because I'm there. Those that do this is what we do for a living, is that we're holding your hand. We're taking you through these big steps of life of, I don't know where to start in this financial journey. So holding your hand, guiding you, but giving you the empowerment, the tools, the resources. I'm your coach. I'm your guide, but you guys are totally in control of this. And I'm there to provide any insight along the way. But it comes up to you guys for that commitment, the sacrifice and dedication, because that's really what it's going to take.
Yes. And that's where we hit that roadblock. We definitely have a plan. I've sat down so many times. Let me get on Pinterest and find a nice budget calendar so I can use my pretty pens, and then I'm going to really stick to this. It's the discipline. And I think that's the great thing that comes with having a financial counselor. You have someone to report to you. You're
held accountable.
Someone to, exactly, someone to monitor your progress, as to where with your spouse, they're your person. It's easy to just be like, babe, this month I went overboard. I'm sorry. I love you. And then you move on. As to where when you have a counselor, somebody that's really saying, okay, well, last month you said you were going to do X, you did not. So I think that's a huge, huge thing for people like myself who know what needs to be done, but need that extra push.
Yep. And it's not to do, any shaming or make you feel guilty for, oh, you spent a little extra. It happens, we are human. We have to live. We've got this life that it's how we're smart about what we do with things, but it's also enjoying life. It comes and goes so fast. You're going to look back and think, oh my goodness, when the kids are grown, where did the time go? What did we do? But it's making the most for what you've got. It's making it count. It really is making what you have work for you, whether it's $500 that you have extra or $5,000. It's all the same and on perspective on how you look at it and what you do with it. So through the uncomfortableness, through the scariness, the tears, whatever it might be, I'm going to be here to push you, encourage you. I am your financial cheerleader. I'm going to push you through the positive change that you need for a financially better future. So I look forward to working with you guys. We're going to create that budget, even work on vision boards, on setting those goals. And that's going to be huge. We're going to do short-term goals, even a month, 6 months, and a year. We're going to start small, but then of course, long-term, I'm sure owning a home is something that's very important to you, but we got to look what's going on right now and make those small changes.
Wow, that was really interesting. Well,
That
don't
was
you think?
Super interesting. I felt like Just a little fly on the wall over here.
I know. It was a little like reality TV show, without all the drama. Except we got some good drama about the baby.
I know. The good drama.
The good drama. That was good. Heidi, that was really interesting watching you walk a couple, going through all of that with them. And I thought what was really interesting, Heidi, is when you asked them how they saw money growing up.
Yeah, that was a very good question.
Yeah, you don't realize what you see, hindsight, when you're an adult making the same financial habits and choices that your parents did without even knowing it. So it's about pulling it out and saying, okay, wait a minute, I'm following the same footsteps. Maybe they were good, maybe they weren't so good, but it's making those adjustments.
It's finding your inner child money version.
Whoa. Wow. That was deep, Will. That was really deep.
Have you found your inner child?
I don't
your inner
know.
Teenager or anything?
Do you really want to find your inner teenager?
Know,
Like, that's
right?
the worst.
Can you imagine?
No
God.
thanks. No thanks. All right. So now it's time for our rapid fire round, which we call the Making It Count Essentials. And Will, you get to start.
Look at me. All right, Heidi, how does a person's age affect their budgeting? I'm assuming that people should reevaluate their budgets on a regular basis.
Budgeting is something that gets reevaluated often when you have a change of circumstance, whether it be a job, loss, increase, anything that where your budget is changing as well. If you're looking to pay off credit cards or get out of debt, your budget's going to change than when you're looking to budget for savings, or it's going to depend whether you're a teenager learning to budget and, kids might be trying to save for a car. I actually have a 16-year-old we're working on budgeting now, and she's got her very first job and a license. So we're learning the saving, spending, bills, because she is required to pay her car insurance. So it's establishing responsibilities and gaining the concept of what budgeting is early on, because it is forever changing. And what it might be today could easily change in 3 months.
And we saw that right here in person, because now I'm sure that Chelsea and Desi weren't thinking about budgeting for like 6 months ago. And now it's like a whole new world. Especially when you add multiple kids. That's a whole.
I'm so excited for them, but I'm also so excited that I will never have that problem.
I can lend you one.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, no, I'm not looking. No, it's okay. No. I'm good.
All right, Heidi, when people create a budget, they tend to focus on the recurring expenses like groceries, mortgage, electric bill, but not all expenses are monthly. Like some are seasonal, like holidays, and even quarterly, or that one yearly bill that you pay. What's the best way to account for these particular items in your budget?
Yeah, it's always knowing. I personally love the idea of having different savings accounts. So under your saving account, you can have sub-shares, and creating different sub-shares. So we're telling your money where to go. So you can have one gigantic savings account that, it's savings, and you pull money from it as you need it. But when you give your money a name, like, for example, maintenance around the house, if you have lawn services that necessarily don't come out, every month, but every 3 months. For me personally, we have our termite reinspection or whatever that comes up every year. The best way to do that is to take what it is, divide it by 12. And then make it part of your regular monthly expense. So that way, when you know that it's November and we have this coming up, you know that you're not going to be scrounging around going, oh my gosh, I didn't factor this in the budget. You can simply go to that particular savings account, and there you go. You've got the money all ready to go. Just transfer it out, pay the bill. So it's to allocate your money throughout the year.
All right, this one's for fun, or at least we hope. Heidi?
Yes.
Pineapple on pizza, yes or no?
100%. You have to have pineapple.
Really?
Yes.
Okay, but what else do you like
pineapple
with
and ham.
it? Pineapple and ham.
Now, I know Jess said bacon, but I'm not really too sure about pineapple and bacon.
That sounds good too.
But I had this conversation because this is a topic in the house when we order pizza. My 11-year-old says, absolutely not. He says you cannot mix the salty with the sweets, or
Some people really don't like salty and sweet.
Yeah.
Oh,
But
I love
I-
it. I crave salty sweet.
I have a
That's
friend though. The
delicious.
other day, I went to pizza with him. Got pizza with him, and he got pineapple, black olives,
Ooh.
and jalapenos.
Yeah, no. I'm going to pass.
And I withheld my judgment for the most part, which is hard for me to do, as you know, Christina.
It is.
But yeah, I think that was a time where I was like, we could have done without the pineapple. Because if it had been like black olives and jalapenos, I'd be like, okay, a little weird, but whatever.
But you know
Pineapple
what?
threw that off completely.
They
I think
like
pineapple
what
has
they
to be
like,
paired
and
correctly.
Good for them. Good for them for putting themselves out there with that interesting
Yeah, let your freak
pizza.
flag fly.
Yeah,
I mean,
that's what I'm saying.
Go for it.
So Heidi, thank you so much for joining us. You always are so welcoming, give such great advice to us and our podcast listeners. So how can people find you or get a hold of you?
Sure. Well, I'm here at Addition Financial. The best way to reach out to me is by email. My email address is hpauley@additionfi.com, and we'll put that down below. So please feel free to reach out with your questions. If you're interested in a consultation, I look forward to getting to know you and steering as many people as I can towards financial success.
Thank you so much. And then I know they're not here with us now, but Chelsea and Desi were awesome. It really was. It's hard to put yourself out
Yeah,
there and
that's a
be
lot.
vulnerable about a very taboo subject that we've talked about before. So I'd like to give a thank you to Chelsea and Desi as well. All right, Will, it's time for our favorite segment.
What did we learn today? All right, I'll go first because I want to. For me, I think I learned that it was a good reminder that often the way you view things is shaped a lot by your upbringing. I mean, I'm not the person to say like everything comes from your upbringing. I'm not a Freudian type person, but I do believe that it has a lot of impact on you. So like the way that you see others handling money growing up is often, I think, the way you perceive it as you get into adulthood. And also, you know, those lessons that you're taught along the way. So I think it was a really good place to start of just like, where do you come from with money?
Mm-hmm.
You know, that's a very important aspect.
Yeah, I agree. That was really interesting. Something that struck home with me is that I have in common with Chelsea, and we talked about it in the episode she was in before, the Target obsession. And then also and she mentioned it today, the eating out. Like I spend so much eating out. We cook for dinner and we make breakfast, but on the weekends, that's just like the social thing that we do. And I can't stand making my lunch. And I know, Will, you are so much better about that than I
No.
am.
I will say this. I'm pretty good during the week. But here's the thing. Eating out once or twice a week nowadays is
It's
expensive.
So expensive.
And I'll be honest, I like good food. So I'm not going to if I'm going out, I'm not going to be like, oh, I'll just go to, I don't know, Bob Evans or something like,
R.I.P. That doesn't even exist
it doesn't even
anymore.
exist
But
anymore.
a good example because you're not hurting anybody's
Exactly.
feelings.
I was going to say something else and then I was like, I won't go there, but it's expensive.
Yes, it really is. Like I spent like $15 on lunch yesterday, just me. So it really was a great reminder to track your spending. And actually, you know what I'm going to do? Heidi inspired me. I put everything on my credit card because I'm gaming the system and I'm getting points for it. And then that month it comes out of my checking account. So I'm going to print out my credit card statement and take out different color.
Don't print.
I'm a tactile
you
person.
can do highlights on like.
I'm going to print it, Will.
Okay.
I need to physically do it. I know I'm going to kill a couple trees, but I'm going to print it and I'm going to get different color highlighters and I'm going to highlight all the different things and add them up and see like what I truly am spent. I think I need that shock value. It's almost one of those things where it's like, I don't want to see it because I know it's bad, but I need to pull the Band-Aid.
Okay.
And I know we had that eco-friendly episode. Okay, it's like 2 pages. Hey, I can print front and back.
I haven't said a word. You're very defensive. I haven't said anything. Haven't said a word.
All right. Every week, we like to give our listeners a resource where they can make it count in their lives. Will, can you please tell us what we have for them today?
I'd love to. Today, we have a terrific resource that's ideal for anybody who wants to get a handle on their money. I love this. It's a long title today.
Yay! It's perfect for our season finale.
Mm-hmm. It's a guide called Money Management Tips and Saving Strategies for Every Budget and Age.
I love it.
I want to put a little beat to it.
The title says it all. So please go ahead and download that. It'll be always in the show notes. Producer Lauren is so good about that. And since it is our season finale, Will,
I know.
this is the end of season 3. We're going to start planning for season 4 very shortly. So if you have any topics or ideas of how you want to what you want to learn about your finances, please email us at podcast@additionfi.com. Any ideas you have, we would love to incorporate them, or on any of our social media, any of Addition Financial social media, just give it to us there or email us. And Will, we need to do thank yous because it is the end of the season.
We need to give our shout outs.
We do need to give our shout outs who we don't get to thank enough, but I have a few. Will and I would like to thank Addition Financial for sponsoring us. We're really excited about having this opportunity to share financial education to anyone who wants to listen to it. And our biggest fan is the CEO of Addition Financial, Kevin Miller. So thanks for supporting us. Also, Lauren, our incredible executive producer. Producer Lauren is not she always sits next to us, and seeing her smiling face and everyone at the Greenhouse Agency that makes this podcast happen, we can't thank you guys enough.
Mm-hmm. We also want to thank Resonate Recordings for making our episodes sound a lot more cohesive than they are while we're recording it.
Are you saying that we don't start and stop all the time or fumble over our words?
Never. We never do that.
No.
But Resonate won't tell on us either way. So
No.
We also want to thank all of our guests, including Rich Barbary. We will give a shout out to him.
And Heidi
I was going to exclude
Chelsea
him, but yes.
both been guests. We have so many great guests that have come on.
It's been a really good season for that. We appreciate everyone coming on. All right. That's a wrap, Christina. Thanks everyone for listening, and we will see you next season on Making It Count. And that's a wrap on this episode of Making It Count.
If you learned something new, or inspired to reach your financial goals,
or just found us entertaining,
please subscribe, share, or rate, and review us on your favorite podcast app.
And don't worry, we'll be back soon with another new episode of Making It Count.